Very good morning. Today we'll discuss application layer. When you come to the TCP/IP protocol stack, you can see four layers. One is network, interface, and hardware. Internetwork, called as a IP layer or network layer. Transport layer, application layer. So till now we discussed network interface and hardware. IP layer, network layer, what are the protocols? In IP layer you can see IP, IPv4 or IPv6, ICMP, ARP, RARP, IGMP. Okay, coming to the transport layer, we discussed TCP and UDP protocols, transmission control protocol, user datagram protocol. Coming to the application layer, we have communication protocols like SMTP, simple mail transfer protocol, Telnet, FTP, okay, FTP, TFTP, and DNS. These are the communication protocols, etc. So many protocols you can see, communication protocols in application layer. So how the TCP protocol stack can be seen, the functions of each layer here. So what are the applications? It may interact with the TCP or UDP or interact with the network layer, that is internet layer, IP layer here, okay, or interaction from the application layer to the transport layer, or transport layer to the network layer, from network layer to the network interface layer. Okay, what are the main responsibilities of application layer? Mainly is that is provided by the program that uses TCP/IP for communication. An application is a user process cooperating with another process, usually on different host. Examples for the applications: Telnet, SMTP, FTP. FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. Okay, now interface between the application and transport layers is defined by port numbers and sockets. So coming to the application layer, we can see n number of communication protocols like file transfer, TFTP, Travel File Transfer Protocol, FTP, File Transfer Protocol, NFS, email, coming to the email, SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, coming to the remote login, Telnet or login, and for network management we can see Simple Network Management Protocol. For name management we can see the DNS, domain name system, which are used by the router. Okay, so we'll go in detail each communication protocols. First we'll discuss about the DNS, domain name system. So what is a domain name system? Divide this huge amount of information into smaller parts and store each part on different computers here. The host needs mapping can contact closest computer holding the needed information. This method is used by the DNS here. What is a namespace? Namespaces assigned to the machines must be carefully selected from namespace with complete control over binding between names and IP addresses here. So we can see two types of namespaces. One is flat name namespace, hierarchical namespace here. So flat namespace is assigned to the address sequence of characters with the out structure. Many may or may not have common section here. Coming to the hierarchical namespace, each name is made up of several parts. First part can be defined as the nature of organization. Second part can be defined as the name of organization. Third part can be defined as a organization, so on. Okay. Next one is a domain name space. What is domain name space here? Hierarchical namespace, it is also called as a hierarchical namespace. Names are defined in inverted tree structure with root at top. Tree can have only 128 levels. Level 0, it is called as a root, and to level 127. We can discuss so many topics in the DNS. One is label, domain name, domain. So what is a label? Label, each node in a tree has a label which is string with maximum of 63 characters. What is a domain name? Each node in a tree has a domain name. Generally, we can see domain names, fully qualified domain name or fully qualified domain name or partially qualified domain names. Two types we can see in domain names. One is fully qualified domain name. Next one is the partially qualified domain names here. Fully qualified domain name is a sequence of labels separated by dots. Example, you can take challenger.atc.fsda.edu. Okay. So a fully qualified domain name is a sequence of labels separated by dots. Domain names are always read from node up to the root. Last label is a label of a root null. This means that full domain name always ends in a null label here, which means last character is a dot because null string is nothing. If label is terminated by null string, it is called as a fully qualified domain names. Contains full name of the host. It contains all the labels you can see. Example, you can see this example. If you type a google.com, okay, www.google.com is a fully qualified domain. Is challenger.atc.fsda.edu. Is a fully qualified domain name. If you sometimes type only Google, it is a partially qualified domain name. Partially qualified domain name is a label is not terminated by null string. It is called as a partially qualified domain name. Partially qualified domain starts from node but does not reach the root here. Resolver can supply missing part called as a suffix to create a fully qualified domain name. Example, if you take the Google, generally the students what will do, they type the Google. They will never type the fully qualified domain name here. Never type http://www.google.com. Just they type the partially qualified domain name Google. But resolver will supply the missing part called as a suffix to create a fully qualified domain name here. So DNS client adds the suffix before passing address to the DNS server here. Okay. Next, coming to the domain. Third one, domain. A domain is a subtree of domain name space. The name of domain is the domain name of a node at top of the subtree. So you can see the examples here. Domain names and labels. You can see the root edu. Okay. Challenger.atc.fsda.edu. Is a fully qualified domain name. So challenge is a label, ATC is a label, FSDA is a label, edu is a label. Okay. Edu dot is a domain name, fsda.edu dot is a domain name, atc.fsda.edu dot is a domain name, and challenger.atc.fsda.edu dot is a fully qualified domain name here. The name of domain is a domain name of the node at top of the subtree. So you can see the examples here, different domains. Okay. Distribution. Next concept is the distribution of the namespace. Information contained in domain namespace must be stored. So generally we can have hierarchy of name servers here, zones, root server, primary and secondary servers here. So first we'll discuss what is the hierarchy of name servers. The main solution is to distribute information among many computers, called as a DNS servers here. Divided whole space into many domains based on the first level. DNS allows domains to be divided further into smaller domains, subtrees you can call it. So next one is the zones and domains. Zone, what a server is responsible for authority is called as a zone. Okay, .com you can see this example is a zone, and this is a fully dotted is called as a domain. Again, in a domain can have zone and domain again from the root. Domain and zone refer to the different things here. Next, coming to the root server. Root server is a server whose zone consists of old tree. A root server usually does not store any information about the domains here. Root server. So coming to the primary and secondary. Primary and secondary servers. DNS defines two types of servers. One is primary, one is a secondary here. So what is a primary server? A primary server loads all information from the disk file, and secondary server loads all information from the primary server. When the secondary downloads information from the primary, it is called as a zone transfer. It is called as a zone transfer here. So we can have DNS in the internet. DNS is a protocol that stores that can be used for in different platforms here. So we have three types of domains in internet. One is generic domains, next one is the country domains, third one is the inverse domains here. You can see this. So what is the first generic domains? Generic domains define register host according to the generic behavior here. And country domains uses 2-character country abbreviations. Example, you can take US, United States of America. Okay, now second label can be organizational, you can say. Inverse domains used to map address to name. This may happen, for example, when server has received request from the client to do some task. Server asks its resolver to send a query to DNS server to map an address to name of the to determine if client is authorized in a list or not. This type of query is called as a inverse or a pointer query, PTR query. So you can see some generic domains: aero, biz, com, cooperative, educational, government, information. Okay. For generic domains, aero, airlines and aerospace companies; biz, business and firms; com for commercial organizations, cooperative business organizations, educational institutions; gov for government institutions; information services providers for info; int for international organizations; mil for military groups, museums and other non-profit organizations; name, personal names; network support centers or non-profit organizations, professional individual organizations here. So coming to the country domains, we can have AE, France, FR for France, US for United States, ZW, like that. You can have the number of country domains. Next one is the resolution. Mapping a name to address or address to the name is called as a name address resolution. So you can have different topics in this. One is resolver and mapping names to address, mapping address to the names, recursive resolution, caching. So what is a resolver? A resolver, a host that needs to map an address to name or name to address. DNS client called as a resolver. Resolver access closest DNS server with mapping request. If server has information, it satisfies resolver, otherwise it refers to the other servers here. Mapping names to the address. Resolver gives domain name to the server and asks the corresponding address. Mapping address to the names. Client can send an IP address to the server to be mapped to domain name. This is called PTR query. DNS generally uses the inverse domain here. Next one is a recursive resolution. Client resolver can ask for recursive answer from name server here. Resolver expects the server to supply final answer. If server is authority for domain name, it checks in database and response. If not authority, it sends request to the another server here. So if it is sending to the FSDA EDO, if it is not in this, again it sends to the EDO, like that root server com and mcgrav.com. Coming to the iterative, mapping can be done by iterative layer. Coming to the last one, caching. What is a caching? Each time server receives a query for a name that is not in a domain, it needs to be searched in database for IP address here. Reduction of this search time called as a increasing your efficiency here. DNS handles this mechanism called as a caching here. It stores information in cache memory before it sends response to the clients here. We can have DNS as messages here. Two types of messages we can be seen. One is a query, one is the response. Okay, both types have the same format. Query message consists of header and question records, and response message consists of header and question records, answer records, authoritative records, and additional records here. So coming to the header format, query and response messages, header and question section, and response has header, question section, answer section, authoritative section, additional section here. Header, both query and response messages have same header format here. You can see the header format for DNS. One is identification, flags, number of question records, number of authoritative records, number of answer records, number of additional records. So you can have types of records. One is question record, one is the resource record. Okay, with this we can complete the DNS concept. Thank you very much.